All right, let's get into it. If you're on a path of recovery, you know the deal with the first few steps. You've admitted powerlessness, you've found some hope, you've made that decision to surrender, and then bam, you hit a wall. Today, we are diving deep into that wall. Step 4. We're going to explore what makes it so incredibly challenging, and more importantly, how you can actually get through it.
I mean, this is the step that promises to change everything, right? But that just brings us to the big question for today. Why does this one step stop so many people dead in their tracks?
Yeah, people often call it the mountain of step 4, and for a really good reason. When you're standing at the bottom, looking up, it just looks intimidating. It feels completely overwhelming. But, as we're about to see, it is absolutely climbable.
Okay, so what is this step exactly? The official wording is, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Now, after looking outward for the first few steps, the huge shift here is that the spotlight, it turns directly inward, on us.
And this right here, this is the moment where so many people just freeze. It's probably the most common point where people drop out of recovery programs. But here's the thing, it's also the exact place where real, lasting transformation actually starts to happen.
So, if we're going to climb that mountain, we first have to understand what makes it so darn scary. Let's really look at the fear that's hiding behind the idea of an inventory. And these are the big ones. You've got the fear of what we'll actually discover. That deep, nagging worry that maybe we're just too broken to be fixed. And it's not just about judgment from other people. It's about the harsh judgment we pass on ourselves. I mean, this step is asking us to relive moments we spent years trying to bury. And that level of raw honesty, well, it can feel absolutely terrifying.
You know those fears? They lead directly to why people quit right here. This step really does separate the curious from the committed. Some folks are just completely overwhelmed by the emotional vulnerability it demands. For others, the moment they start writing, they just get flooded by all this unprocessed shame. You'll see some fall back on denial, that voice that says, I don't need this. And maybe the biggest reason of all, trying to do it alone. That can feel like you're just spiraling into darkness without any support.
Okay, so that's the problem. And look, it's real, and it is tough. But, and this is the important part, it is not insurmountable. There is a clear path forward, so let's walk through exactly how you make it through. You know, success here often boils down to 4 key mindsets. First, you have to trust the process, knowing that millions of people have found freedom walking this exact same path. Second, lean on support. Isolation is the absolute enemy of progress here. Third, go slow. This is a marathon of discovery, okay? Not a sprint. And finally, and this one is so crucial, you have to remember the purpose behind it all. And that purpose, it's captured perfectly in this idea. This isn't a punishment, it's an opportunity to rewrite your story. The whole point of this exercise isn't to shame yourself into a corner. No way. It's about facing the truth so you can finally be set free from it. Okay, so with that mindset in place, let's get practical. What are the actual tools you can use to do your inventory? One of the most classic, and honestly incredibly effective tools is this, the 4-column inventory. Just look at the structure. Column 1, who are you resentful at? Column 2, the cause. What did they actually do? Column 3, how did it affect you? Your self-esteem, your security, whatever. But column 4, column 4 is the game changer. It's my part. This is where you have to look at your honest role in the whole situation. It shifts everything from blame to personal ownership. And that leads to this really critical concept of a balanced inventory. You kind of have to hold 2 truths in your hands at the same time. On one side, you have to acknowledge what was done to you. You name the harm, the abuse, the injustice. That's a huge part of healing. But if you stop there, you just get stuck. The other side is asking, okay, but what was my part? This is where you look at your own responses, your choices, your behaviors. This is where the real growth happens.
And hey, to make this all feel a bit more manageable, just remember a few things. Don't just list resentments. Get your fears and your secrets down on paper too. And listen, the goal is honesty, not perfection. Just let it flow. Don't try to edit as you write. And when it gets tough, and it will, it is totally okay to pause and reflect. Just make a promise to yourself that you won't run away.
Now this is a question everybody asks. How deep should I go? And the answer is actually simple, but it's profound. Go back far enough to uncover the patterns,
not just to list the events. You don't have to remember every single detail of your life, but you do need to understand the roots of what's going on with you today.
You know, when you put all this together, the mindset, the tools, the honesty, step 4 stops being this terrifying mountain, and it becomes something else entirely. It becomes a doorway to freedom.
This right here, this is the payoff. It's the moment where denial finally ends and real transformation can actually begin. Think of it like someone finally turning on the lights in a dark room. Yeah, it can be messy and uncomfortable getting there, but the result is pure liberation.
So after all that, how do you start something that feels so massive? Well, the secret is, you don't. You start small. You just focus on one thing, one page, one memory, one resentment. Just one moment at a time. Because the goal here isn't to be perfect, it is simply to be honest.
When you boil it all down, it really comes to this one simple truth. The only way out is through. You have to walk through the discomfort, through the fear, through the shame, to get to the freedom on the other side. There are just no shortcuts to this kind of healing.
And ultimately, the reward for walking through that fire is clarity, and it's peace, and it's a powerful truth. It leaves us with one final, liberating question to think about. What if your past doesn't have to define your future?